you and I have had discussions. Of course, I did a video yesterday morning. You did a video.
KK. Got it. I'm with you now.
We're going to KK.
I didn't know which one we were doing yet. Okay.
I want to, I kind of want to wind this down.
Is she leaving?
Yeah.
Is she leaving? That's what I want to know.
That's what every indication seems to be.
So I want to be clear on this, and two things before you start, Pro, because I know there has been some online consternation over this, right? TMZ, blah blah blah, and somebody, we have been accused.
Tippy-toeing.
We have been accused of stealing stuff.
Vermin, Valiant Renegade. Your name is now Vermin Renegade from here on out.
Guess what? This story right here that I have on the Bradenton Herald came out hours before the TMZ story.
Yes.
So I don't want to hear it. Look, I'm an Apple guy, as many of you know. And that means as an Apple guy, I also have Apple News. I have several automated news feeds set up in my Apple News. Every morning I get up and Apple News feeds me that gets behind paywalls because that's what Apple News is. It's worth the $5 a month, folks. This is why. People are like, I can't read the Wall Street Journal article because I'm like, get Apple News. $5 a month, you get it all. Every morning I can check news that searches keywords for Disney. I have an Apple News search set up for Kathleen Kennedy. I've had for years.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, you can't believe it. Star Wars and everything else. I have one set up for Warner Brothers. I have one set up for David Zaslav and all kind of stuff. So this was out there in the public ether. Kathleen Kennedy is selling her Malibu home. As I stated in the video yesterday. Yes.
I've got the first time that I posted it for the public in the private chat. You want to pull that up real quick too? Just so people can see. And let me explain.
Absolutely.
Without being too direct, we were accused of having stolen an allegedly originating scoop from behind a paywall somewhere, when all we were actually doing was reading news articles. So everybody understands, I posted at 11 a.m. I believe this was something like between 36 and 48 hours before we even did the video together.
Yeah.
I had posted the actual article that talks about this. Yep. So if you want to scroll down just a little bit so people can see the time.
Yep.
So there you can see when the tweet / the X came out, August 11th, 2023, 10:43 a.m.
2 days and 12 hours ago.
Right. You can see how quickly we were on this, and we were.
So another channel accused y'all? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah. Well,
okay. No worries. I mean, everybody knows. No. Everybody knows who y'all are. Y'all are.
Yeah. Jesus. I mean, look. Here's the thing: is that, and I will state this for the record for anybody out there who is new to the channel, and we love all of our viewers, especially the new ones here. So humbled by how many new subs we've had, new viewers here. Please understand. WDWPro has been one of the lone voices for over 2 years now. Kathleen Kennedy was going to hang around through the completion of production and the release of Indiana Jones 5. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. It's now out. It's done. Pro said back in 2021, the summer of 2021, that's around the time he and I started having some conversations via email. Before he started his YouTube channel, obviously, before he came on my channel, and we are where we are. And Pro was very clear. He's like, look, because I was having conversations on my YouTube channel at the time, speculating that was a renewal year for Kennedy in 2021. It's every 3 years. 2012, Lucasfilm was bought by Disney. 2015, she got her first official renewal as president of Lucasfilm under the Disney banner. That is when, the same time that Kathleen Kennedy bought this house in 2015.
She bought
in
this
Malibu.
House. Exactly. When she came to Disney. And
yes.
It in terms of travel distance, it's the closest to the headquarters for Disney.
It's 40 minutes away from Burbank, Disney headquarters. You have to understand, Kathleen Kennedy has lived, grown up, born and raised all her life in Northern California. Lucasfilm headquarters are in Frisco,
Right.
7 hours away by car with no traffic from Disney headquarters in Burbank. So
How dare you know this, you vermin?
I'm sorry, but Pro has been consistent on this. That Kennedy, back in 2021, we were speculating, would she get renewed? There was no reason at that point she should be, but for a few wild issues. And Pro was one of the voices of sobriety and reason, saying, look, everything I'm hearing right now is that she is locked in through Indy 5. She's locked in until that movie is done and comes out. So she's probably going to get renewed in 21, and then she's going to hang around until the movie comes out. The movie was originally supposed to be released, if y'all remember, in 2022, the summer of 22, last year.
Mm-hmm.
It then got delayed a full year because of, as typical Disney fashion, post-production issues, because they fricked the whole thing up. So she hang on. Now we have heard Pro has reported. It was also confirmed by, I believe, if memory serves, I'm 99.9% sure, by Variety magazine during the whole Cannes Film Festival premiere of Indiana Jones. I saw them discuss the same information. Pro said that her contract was going to go into renegotiation in August.
Third week of August.
Well, I
right
have a
now.
question. Well,
So,
I have
yeah.
a question about this. Not to stop. What you're saying is
No,
beautiful.
go ahead, George. That was the end of it.
My question is because I remember at the last, what was it, DX23 that just happened, that she was saying she was going to shepherd through the new Rey Star Wars film. Is that
Star Wars Celebration? Star Wars Celebration.
That's what I meant. Star Wars Celebration.
So,
Yeah.
so George, what we think is happening there.
By the way,
based on
Pro
what we've
called
heard-
that before it happened. Pro said that there was going to be a new movie coming with
believe
Rey
it.
Skywalker, and that we'd probably see it at Star Wars Celebration.
I remember reading Bounding
And
in
it
the Comet,
happened.
talking about what Pro said, because I was like, I believe Pro, but I'm like, this is not possible. Someone's smoking somebody else's drugs. I mean, like,
and then
you're
it
gonna
happened.
You're going to rebuild the brand by using her who destroyed. I was
Yep.
like,
And then they marched Daisy Ridley out on stage
I
at Star
saw
Wars
that.
Celebration, exactly as he called it.
So there were two competing theories, let's say, about what was going to happen at Star Wars Celebration, and we were attempting to break this big news, and we did so. We had the guys from EBN on, we had Lauren on, and it was a lot of fun to break that news 2 months ahead of when it was ever announced. And so that was a fun exclusive to get out there, although it wasn't fun to talk about, Daisy Ridley coming back, but it was fun to get the scoop.
yeah. of course.
And but here's what has happened, I guess, in terms of us. Well, you had the question about Kathleen Kennedy and
Will she stay?
the Rey movie and shepherding. So
Yeah.
what we think is happening there is we think that Kathleen Kennedy is wanting to be guaranteed executive producer rights on a number of future films for Lucasfilm. So although she may exit from her current position, she wants to have some degree of creative control and input on those projects.
That's an
Now-
easy cash annuity for 10 years, George, for her, because
Yep.
every
Yeah.
every EP credit on a film of that scale probably has at least $1 million paycheck just as a
Okay.
commission.
Yep.
Yeah.
But does
Now,
that mean
so
she'll be
PGA
actively? Well, she won't be actively involved. You're saying
She'll be
won't?
about as actively involved as Steven Spielberg and Lucas were on this past Indiana Jones movie,
But
which
she
is to
would
say
quote
not at
shepherd
all.
unquote, if you get
Yeah.
my drift.
Gotcha. Yeah. I gotcha.
So,
It's just-
so
it's
let's
like-
walk through. Let's walk through real quick why we think things have escalated. Okay.
Okay.
So we've said for a long time Kathleen Kennedy likely to exit the company 2024. That remains true, I think. The idea that she's going to be fired, humiliated, etc., not going to happen. Never going to happen. They want this to go out as positive possible. And folks, think about this: why would Disney want to, make a mockery of Kathleen Kennedy and potentially harm their relationships all over Hollywood and simultaneously
Would
bring
it?
attention to investors who don't pay attention? Yes, because she's ostensibly friends with Steven Spielberg and some others, and she
Okay.
has
There's
quite
no
the
reason to rock that
following, and there are a great number of women in Hollywood who view her as an archon and icon of the industry.
Okay.
But what's happened here is that we've been reporting that we believe that, based on what we were told, that for, the third week of August was going to be contract negotiations. Then about a month ago, we heard that no, that was being changed over to severance negotiations. Now, that also came on the heels of a 1-2 punch at the Cannes Film Festival, where as she was going into the theater, they closed the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, made that announcement. As she exited the theater, so she's in one of the few times she has no ability to receive any information or communication. On the way out, Disney announced that Willow was being used as a tax write-down. So that had to have been planned. That is there's just no way that's coincidental that both of those happen. Now, so we've been reporting this, right? We've been out on a limb saying third week negotiations. Okay, so the Friday before or the Thursday before, whatever you want to, it depends on how quickly they got the scoop. But one of those days, that's when this happens with the real estate movement. Okay, well that's strange, right? That 3 or 4 days ahead of the contract severance negotiations that we believe are happening, that takes place. And then we've been given information from a source regarding, and I can go this far. I can't go too far on this, but regarding studio scheduling for October, there's something interesting, and we're going to see what happens here. But there's enough there that we felt like we could begin to speculate that her announcement for retirement may happen as soon as October. But it may, depending on the strike, I'm going to give some leeway here until about January, because as long as the strike goes on, she essentially can't do very much damage. So, but we think it could happen as early as October. And again, I don't want to say too much. I would love to. Lorne and Valliant know exactly what this is that I'm talking about, but we'll hold it close to the vest for right now. But we think that October could be the first month that we could expect something.
Yeah, there's reason enough to think that we're getting very close here. And I again,
totally silence from Lucasfilm too.
Yeah, this is not an issue of some of the more wild speculations with some narrative flair that are out there. This is
such a vermin renegade.
Yeah. I mean, this is based in people that we trust, that we know, that are there, that are blah 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 blah, that would have enough information to suggest that this is kind of weird to have something of this nature where we can say, okay, you know what? Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Right.
Where we know it. Put it this way. Here's the wrap up. We know factually that Kennedy's whole thing getting over to Disney back in 2012, what did she really want more than anything? She wanted the Indiana Jones movie. Star Wars has now been exhausted. Willow has been exhausted.
Destroyed.
Indiana Jones has now been exhausted. There is literally not another shred of Lucasfilm intellectual property left for her to wreck. There's nothing left.
She'll get Monkey Island. Don't worry. She's on the case.
That's kind of the thing. She got her Indiana Jones. Everything is lining up. And now, now we're hearing things that date that Pro mentioned in October, it's a little bizarre, the nature of the information that was imparted to Pro to suggest that that's kind of weird. Certainly some stuff is happening. Again, Kathleen Kennedy and Frank Marshall are now in their 70s. Look at this reasonably, regardless of the disaster that Kennedy has left in her wake as president of Lucasfilm since 2012. She probably just wants to retire and enjoy life, and I think Disney is encouraging her, especially Bob Iger, to just go the hell away.
See, I think I agree with you. I just think that it could have been a positive step for Disney to start rebuilding a little bit of trust by firing her ass and then throwing her out the door.
That would have created, we'd all love it, but that would have created more problems for Disney than it was worth. I know that sounds crazy.
More than their customer base being going, hey, you listened? Like, I can see the politics in Hollywood. I understand it might have created issues there, but
it's easier for Disney in that case, because if they quote unquote fire her, like if they terminate her contract, there's several things that that become problematic. Number one, they're going to wind up in court, and they're going to wind up fighting a multi-million-dollar legal case based on whether there was cause or not. Doesn't matter if there was, they're going to have to fight it. That's it, number one. Number two, the terms of the contract, I guarantee you, George, if she is terminated early in a contract, she's going to be guaranteed some type of
a payout.
So if you're Disney and you're dealing with all this, not to mention the PR nightmare of firing Hollywood's most powerful woman in history and all this crap, right? Especially when they're bringing on dudes dressing up in mini dresses and DEI. Seriously, think about this.
No, you're right. You're right.
The easier thing to do is to graciously exit her out the door. And like I've said, for 2 years, she was never, ever going to get fired. And she's not. But that doesn't mean they have to renew her contract every 3 years. There's going to come a point where they will find a gracious exit window and say, bye-bye. Here's a retirement check. And the retirement check for Kennedy, in this case, to make her happy and to make Frank happy and to keep everybody happy. And Kennedy going, oh, how wonderful my time at Disney was. And it was so great. And Bob Iger was just the biggest sweetheart in the world. All this kind of crap, right? That's what Disney wants. Disney hates bad PR.
I know, that's just after we just listened to a week of Snow White.
I know.
I mean, it's like they hate bad
but
PR.
KK will be on the stage of the Oscars. She will be on the stage of the Academy Awards, I think, personally.
Lifetime award?
Yes. February, whatever the hell that stupid broadcast is that nobody gives a flip about outside of LA and New York next year. She'll be on the stage getting a Lifetime Achievement Award. They will announce her retirement, I think, maybe closer to then. To do that, if not by October, if it's not made public, then it'll be a little bit later in time for award season. I think we're at that point now. Now, I want to be clear. Does that mean that Star Wars is saved?
No.
Nope. Sorry. I wish it was. It could. It could absolutely, it might happen. It could happen. I'm not trying to dismiss the possibility of that, but I'm trying to stay in reality in the sense that just because Kennedy is gone, and even if all of her acolytes follow her out the door, all right? But even if all of her acolytes follow her out the door in that regard, like the story group, they still have a lot of damage to fix. I'm still not convinced that a guy like Jon Favreau wants that kind of job. Because Jon Favreau right now, just like Leslie Headland, just like Karen McCarthy, just like Deborah Chow and Rick Fukuyama and all these other guys that have worked on various Disney, Lucasfilm, Star Wars series, they are not employees of Lucasfilm. They're contractors. They're plumbers, electricians, they're home builders. Same as that. Does a guy like Jon Favreau want to take a W-2 position at Disney? Does Jon Favreau want to become an employee of Disney? He has probably seen for years, obviously, what happens to W-2 employees at Disney and how they treat showrunners that aren't even W-2 employees, not employees, they're contractors. I don't know if Jon Favreau at this stage of life would want to take over a studio position. I think Jon Favreau would absolutely love to try to guide Star Wars back to George Lucas's original vision. The problem is, I think Jon Favreau also recognizes that the Walt Disney Company, at the end of the day, is probably not going to let him do that. George, Pro, thoughts?
I agree with you there. It would require. I have also seen what he was able to do. Come on, in the last Mandalorian. I mean, I think any hope that I had left of Favreau and his ability went out the window with the Mandalorian. That's what I believe.
I think that was a lot of corporate pablum, for him, and I think he.
Yeah, no, go son.
No,
He should have removed himself. To me, it's like you get to a point like that. It's you want to save something, it has to come to nut cutting time. Either it's something you believe in and you're going to back that, or if they're going to put their fingers in it, you're going to back away. That's how I take it. So in many ways, I agree with you. I don't think, unless he could design a contract that would give him the authority to do it exactly how he wanted it, I can't see him going to become an employee for Disney.